PennsPeakRadio.com.
One and only Peter Noone on board here with us. Peter, are you there?
Hey, Doc, how you doing? Yes, Peter Noone, Herman of Herman's Hermits. I'm a bunch of guys.
How about it? You know what? It's funny. Like, for all the times now you've been in the States, you still haven't lost that English drawl that you have. And I love it, by the way. I love it.
Well, I go back to England all the time. I'm still English, remember. I'm not one of those... I am an exile, but I'm still a patriot. I go back to England, and I just did a 64-day tour in England.
Did you really?
Whilst I was in England, I got my accent back.
No, see, that's this. We talked a little bit before we went on the air, and I'll tell you what, a lot of you people, and man, we are so excited to have you back. And the show, it goes without saying, is hands down that good, that entertaining, that fun. God bless you. You've been doing it this long, but you know what? You deliver, you love it, and you give them what they want. That's for sure.
I do love it, Doc. I mean, I look forward to each show, because they're all completely different. They're never the same. We have girls who've been to hundreds and hundreds of shows with their husbands, and they say that they've never seen two the same. I say, why do you keep coming to see the show? It's the same thing. And they go, no, it's never the same. You always tell the jokes a little bit differently. We don't have a set list. I mean, if we had a set list, we'd be like those old-timers, like looking down what's next, and everybody's sort of in a formula.
Right.
Because we don't have a set list, we never know what we're doing. We know 300 songs.
That's
we're
crazy.
We're better than the Sex Pistols.
What?
Rascal Flatts don't even have 300 songs that they've recorded.
Wow.
We've just got hundreds and hundreds of songs, and sometimes, what happened is, the time worked in our favor, lots of people, we do other people's songs, and they're not around to say, wait a second, that's my song. Mm-hmm. We just steal them.
Mm-hmm. It started out a long, long time ago. I mean, and I don't know, a little history. Like where did even Hermits come from? A little history just on that, Pete.
Well, we were like a pub band. We were boys who played around everything that was within driving distance of our houses. Sometimes we'd go to gigs on bikes, but we did have a van, and we were in a pub where we used to practice in a pub, and we were too young to drink in the pub. But in England, they had these sort of archaic closing opening times, so the pubs closed from 3:00 till 5:30, and we got out of school at 4:00. So we'd go to this pub and rehearse on their little stage with their microphones till 5:30. And I had these Buddy Holly glasses on, and I was going like, and the guy comes over, the guy who owns the pub comes over, and he says, who the bloody hell do you think that is? I said, it's Buddy Holly. And he says, no, it's not. It's Sherman from the Bullwinkle Show. Because I looked like Sherman from the Bullwinkle Show. It was just like a Peabody. So we all laughed, and we said, let's call it Sherman, and we said, call it Herman and the bloody Hermits, because you look like hermits.
Wow.
And this guy, who we don't even know his name, he gets no credit, but this one person came up with whilst, drying off one of those big pint pots that they drink beer out of England, he came up with Herman's Hermits' name. And, we were all 14, 15 years old.
Wow. And
we stayed in that van until 1964. And in August, we made a record called I'm Into Something Good. By December, we were in the States on tour. We went straight from school in our van, in our own plane.
Wow. That's amazing. And you've played...
In 65, we sold more records than everybody in the whole world, more than the Beatles even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, when you see Britney Spears made 56 million, we made 100 million, but we didn't get it.
Where'd it go?
Like she won't get it.
Oh.
The way they count it is they say you sold all these records for $1 each, and they don't realize that the band don't get the whole dollar.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So $20 million worth of T-shirts, but you don't get the whole $20 million. And now you see it on TV, and you go, oh, they're still talking those numbers that the artist doesn't get.
Mm-hmm.
Grosses, they keep, even like Pierce, those English people who should know better, keep pronouncing these numbers, which is the gross.
Yep.
It'd be great. They wouldn't have a budget deficit in America if people paid taxes on the gross, would they?
That's exactly right. Amen to that one. You heard that one from Peter Noone. How's that? And that makes sense for those. I don't know why they don't get it in those limestone buildings. Probably just because they're knuckleheads. That's probably why. It's I can't be president, and I can't run for any political office in America, so I don't care. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to hold babies. I don't have to hold babies that I don't want to.
I'll tell you what. You were talking about Peabody glasses and everything else. I think I distinctly remember last year with what you fondly call the Noonatics. Get it? Peter Noone, Noonatics. That, you're getting, I think I heard the women going crazy over you. You're getting better looking with age, Pete.
Well, I don't know about that. I think probably what happens is more, as you get older, the eyesight sort of fades. There is a rule. Doc, I can tell you because you're an adult. What happens, first of all, eyesight goes quickly, and they've got all these shops and malls and everything where you can go and get your eyes tested. But lunatics don't do that regularly. And there is a rule. What happens, first you forget names, then you forget faces, then you forget to fasten your fly, and then you forget to unfasten the fly. That's the worst part.
It is, it's such a seasoned performer as Peter Noone is. Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noone, coming up this Friday at Penn's Peak. And, everything, you'll hear it all. I'm into something good to Mrs. Brown. You've got a lovely daughter. Is there a meaning behind that one? Like, was one of the bandmates maybe, like, looking to date Mrs. Brown's daughter? Or how did that come about?
Well, it's actually it's Mrs. Brown's granddaughter now, but what happened was there was the real girl's name was Wendy Herman.
Really?
And, yeah. But you couldn't sing a song of Mrs. Herman or Mrs. Silverman or Mrs. Goldberg, so we just changed it to an English name, Mrs. Brown.
Oh.
And, forever she will never know who she was.
Wow.
People come up to me and go, I was Mrs. Brown's lovely daughter. I said, great. Great.
The show itself is so off the cuff, and you're still having a great run now. You and I are talking. You're out there now in California. You're out there on the West Coast. You're heading into Nashville, coming up here. I guess not too long after this interview. From Nashville, then you're heading up here to Penn's Peak. I mean, boy, you're still putting it on the road. You're still loving it. I mean, you can tell. It's amazing. Everything from being in the movies to being on a soap opera. I mean, there hasn't been much that you haven't done.
Well, the only thing I've not done is paid off the last 27 years of my mortgage. Oh. I expect me to be back at Penn Street again another time.
Oh, that is too funny. How are our bandmates? They've been with you, like the band that you have? I mean, a lot of guys have been with you all these years?
Loads. We keep getting younger guys trying to keep up with me, you know what I mean?
I can see that.
Dave's been with me for the longest. Like, I think he's been around. The drummer's been for 20s of years.
Wow.
And then Vance has been around for 19 years. And then Rich has been around for about 5 years. And Billy Sullivan is a newcomer. He's about 3 years old.
Wow.
He just came along. we just keep replacing them with younger models. Not necessarily... Not cheaper models, but younger models.
I got you.
We're the best now. We're the best now we've ever been. We can almost play as good as those 15-year-old boys on the record.
I'll tell you, it's crazy to think all these years still so good. And I mean, guys, I told some friends of mine I ran into, and they said, "Boy, I want to get up for a show." And I'm debating now. And this is what they said: we have Paul Revere and the Raiders coming up. Then they said we have Herman's Hermits coming up. They said, which one would you take? And I told them, I said,
take both.
I did tell. Well, I probably should have said that. See, I'm not that seasoned yet like you, so I should have said do both. But I'll tell you, I told them, I said, you know what? I got to say, when I saw Peter Noone the first time, when I was just up in the suite with my son and you were throwing a T-shirt up to him, which, by the way, he still wears as a nightshirt because it was a little big, but he still wears it. I said the show was absolutely incredible. And with all conviction, I mean that. Peter Noone, it's that good, and it's that fun, and it's that entertaining. And I know that goes without saying for everybody else that's going to be there, man.
Hey, it'll be different anyway. We try to do good shows because if you consider the alternative, it doesn't bear thinking about. We try to be better every night. So hopefully we'll be. We have fun with each other on stage, which is kind of apparent to the audience, but it really has helped not having a set list, so you don't get stuck in the same, what's next, and that look of consternation on the Hermit's face is. They're looking at me like, what is he going to do next?
Yeah.
Looks like enthusiasm. That reads to the audience as enthusiasm. It's working well for us.
Well, and I'll tell you what, that's exactly what, that's how they look at this radio show. It's like, oh my God, what is the doctor going to do next? What is he going to say next? Maybe that's our hook. Maybe that is our hook. I know you're real busy. I know you have a lot of great moments that have stood out over these great years, man, and the great music and the fun that you have given all of us. But I always usually ask this. People that have been around, that have seen it all, that have traveled the world playing music and entertaining the masses, anything stand out? Any one moment stand out? Maybe, you ended up with... I got five. I did a concert in London with the Beatles, and I was talking to John Lennon, and he said to me, isn't this one of your songs? And I'd been introduced, but I was standing backstage with the Beatles talking to them, and I didn't even know Hermits were on stage, and there's a video of it, me running on stage like halfway through the song. And another one would be Johnny Cash at Nashville Airport. I'm walking through Nashville Airport, and this guy, I hear this voice, hey, Herman. And it was Johnny Cash, and who was kind of a sort of an acquaintance. And I met Elvis in Hawaii, and he was hilarious. Nobody knows that Elvis was a funny man. He was a great comedian. Wow.
He never really did interviews. And I interviewed him. It was the world's worst interview ever. And, so there's loads of them. Meeting Roy Orbison was a big deal, because my sister played his records all the time when I was a kid. My sister lived with Roy Orbison in repeat. The records in those days, if you lifted up the arm, they would just keep playing forever or until you puked. Mm-hmm. And she would play, it's over, it's over, it's over. And my dad, every time it finished, he'd go, it's over. And my father would shout up and say, thank the Lord for that. But then she'd play it again. So 100 times a day, my dad would shout up the stairs at the end of the record, thank the Lord. I met great memories. And I met Roy Orbison, and I told him the story, and he said, I say thank the Lord when that song's finished.
It's, I can't wait for the show on Friday. I'll be here again. I was here the last time you guys were here, and I'll do a little house cleaning, as you will, before you guys take the stage. But I'll look forward to at least saying hello to you guys backstage. And for the rest of you, I can't tell you enough, man. Peter Noone, Herman's Hermits starring Peter Noone this coming Friday night. That good. You will not be disappointed. I wish you continued success. You're absolutely an amazing person and just a great guy just to shoot the breeze with. Safe trip to Nashville and a safe trip coming here to Penn Peak.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, and we will look
backstage at Penn Peak.
And I will look forward to seeing you too, sir, as well. Safe trip and safe travels, and all the best to your family, and we'll see you real soon.
Same to you. Talk to you there. See you at Penn Peak.
You bet. Thanks, Pete.
Bye for now.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
PennsPeakRadio.com